Thank you, Moran. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes? Good. All right. First off, thank you all for joining me. The goal here today is to, like Moran said, is to really tell you guys about the offering we have at IBM Cloud. What are some of the cool things we've done with Zerto, how we have integrated into IBM Cloud Platform, and what are some of the use cases and the overall offering. So with that said, let me go and get started. So the agenda, basically, I definitely want to tell you guys about some of the cool things we have done on the VMware side of the house also. So we'll cover that. We'll lay out a good platform and basis of our Zerto discussion, and how we layer Zerto on top and some of the other value add props that we have for the VMware platform. I also want to show you guys some of the use cases that we have around Zerto that we're using today. And also towards the end, I'll show you guys a demo of how all of this works and how easy it is to deploy all of this. So for those of you, well, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys know IBM Cloud well? Or who has access to Bluemix or is running Bluemix today? Very few, right? And that's not unusual. I mean, I get that all the time. So Bluemix is a PaaS platform that IBM has developed with a lot of very cool functionality that's built in there. And what we have done is really integrated into that as well. So for those of you who know IBM Cloud well, one thing that we really pride ourselves upon is our bare metal capability, right? IBM, unlike other public cloud environments, is a bare metal shop. We also have a public cloud environment as well. But we really allow enterprise customers to run their enterprise applications by standing up bare metal and giving them access to the bare metal environments. So that is, to set the base, that's where IBM was. We wanted to take it to the next level. And we did that by leveraging VMware. You all know how big VMware is, 80% plus market share today. So we wanted to make use of that with the capabilities that we have around bare metal. Faster deploy times, customers being able to leverage their enterprise applications and stand that up in IBM Cloud. So we went into partnership with VMware last year, and the goal was to not just be another cloud provider who offers VMware to an end customer. Our goal was to solve real customer problems and challenges and create these solutions that run on VMware and offer those as a service to the customer. So that was the goal, and I'll talk more about that, how it all came about and some of the details around that and some of the services and solutions we have. But this is essentially our VMware portfolio today. So like I said, our goal is to really solve these real challenges customers have. So at the bottom, you see we have the VMware Cloud Foundation, VMware vCenter Server, and vSphere. So these are our infrastructure layer items on how we deploy VMware. I'll go into more detail into each one of those, but at the base layer, we have the VMware stack that gets deployed. On top of that, we want to build out services for the customers, services that all the customers need in a cloud environment, right? So you need backup, you need DR, you need security, you need professional services, managed services, so the whole full stack. Whether you're just looking for infrastructure to stand up your VMware VMs in, or if you are wanting a disaster recovery as a service, or you're looking for offsite backup, or you're looking for a encryption, whether it's at rest or in flight, or you're looking for additional services for customers who are looking to migrate to IBM Cloud. So we wanted to encompass all of that into this VMware Solutions portfolio and give it to a customer so you have everything you need to run all your VMware workloads in IBM Cloud. So what are these three infrastructure level VMware bundles that we have? So for those of you who know VMware software-defined data center, Foundation is really built upon that. Foundation is essentially a 4-node cluster that gets deployed. It's fully validated by VMware. We actually worked very closely with VMware to design that and come up with a fully validated HCL design so that a customer who has had these challenges with VMware in the past where they go in and deploy the hardware and bombs which are not supported by VMware. So if an issue comes up with VMware where a host goes down or a versioning and those sort of things, VMware wouldn't support that. So we wanted to solve that challenge. You wanted to have a stack that was fully supported, fully validated by VMware. It has NSX, vSAN built in, and the goal here is to really automate all of that, right? So like I said, we don't want to be another one of those vendors who who just essentially sell you some VMware IaaS, and yeah, we'll deploy it in a month for you, and you go build your VMs on top. We wanted to make it very easy to consume for a customer and give you the full stack of VMware. So the goal here is to deploy this whole foundation stack in a matter of hours for a customer, and it's a full stack. So you get NSX, you get vSAN, 4-node deploy. It's more enterprise grade. So if you're a larger company who wants to at least start off with a 4-node deploy, you can deploy this. You can scale up, scale down. So it is flexible, starting up from a 4-node cluster. But in a matter of hours globally, in any one of the certified VMware data centers, you can deploy this in a matter of hours. The second option that we have is the vCenter server option, which is more flexible. It appeals to more mid-market, where a customer doesn't want to have a 4-node cluster. They want to start a little bit lower. They don't want vSAN. They want some networking options, storage options. So it's more flexible in that sense, but it's fully vetted and validated as well, right? So the goal here is, again, to keep it fully automated, deploy it very, very fast for a customer in any one of those IBM Cloud data centers, but then not start at 4-node, but start at a lower level, so 2-node, right? And it's lifecycle management for the validated design. So there's a lot of stuff that is built around this automated platform to make it easier for the customer to consume that. So we actually take the burden of vetting out all those details with VMware and validate the whole design. Now, the third option that we have here is build your own. So that is the model that, for those of you who have worked in IBM Cloud, you guys are probably used to. This is where you can go in and build your own sort of an environment, right? It's fully manual. You'll go in there to stand up a bare metal server. You will deploy your VMware environment on top. You can leverage all the services software has. The downside, obviously, to this is that it's not validated, right? This is something that you can pick any bare metal, any BOM in IBM Cloud today and deploy your VMware stack on top. But it is flexible, right? So you have full functionality to do whatever you want based on whatever software IBM Cloud has to offer. So those are the three different models we have on the infrastructure side at the bare metal level. So foundation, I just want to quickly, this is the same slide I kind of talked about now, but essentially, you can see in the picture, vSAN, NSX, 4-node cluster, fully deployed matter of hours, any one of those certified IBM data centers. And then on the next slide, we have the vCenter server, which is the lower level. It's a 2-node cluster. We have the the capabilities to have SAN storage, local storage. Again, any one of those IBM data centers deployed in a matter of hours. And this is the build your own, right? So essentially, you have access to everything. You can bring your own license in this environment too if you wanted to. That's a ask for a lot of customers who are existing VMware customers. You can leverage our licensing model here, which, by the way, is very good. And to give you guys a little bit more detail on that, in comparison to the other cloud providers, we don't license VMware by the VRAM. We do it by the socket, right? And it's very, very competitive pricing. So it's a huge value add for our customers to leverage our licensing. But if you have an existing VSP program with VMware and you want to bring that on board, you can do that as well. So what are some of the use cases that we are focusing on for this platform? So migrations obviously is one. Hybrid is the new thing, right? Everyone wants to do migrations, and that's kind of where Zerto fits in as well, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So a lot of customers that we're working with are looking for hybrid. A lot of customers we're looking with, they want to consolidate and have a single pane of glass view for on-prem and cloud environments and be able to manage all of that from a single pane of glass. So that's our goal here, is to really bridge the gap from on-prem to cloud or cloud to cloud. So if you had an Azure environment or if you had an AWS environment and you wanted to hook that into IBM Cloud, we can certainly do that. Or if you had multiple on-prems and you wanted to hook IBM Cloud into the mix and leverage the cloud feature set, we can accommodate that as well. So that's definitely one of the use cases. Also, backup in DR is a very good use case. And as I transition into the Zerto side and Zerto slides, I'll talk more about that. And then security and compliance. You guys know public cloud. One of the reasons why the customers have not moved into public cloud is security. So we have solved that challenge by partnering with some of the very key partners in the industry, such as Intel or HITrust, and do encryption at the chip level. So we're trying to solve, like I said, all these challenges that customers have today, and not just be another one of those VMware partners that just offers IaaS to their customers. So just to, on the last slide I mentioned backup and DR. Like I said, the goal is to really onboard these VMware customers and these services that are really getting traction in the market. And we had a few options, right? IBM has its own products, right? We have our own DR products, we have our own backup products, we have our own security products. But we really wanted to take a step back and evaluate the market and see where the market was headed, what were some of the cool things the market was doing, the feature sets, the use cases that we needed to solve for, and the tool and the product that we saw in the market and we wanted to go to market with initially was Zerto on the disaster recovery side. So it was a no-brainer decision from our perspective, right? I mean, there's going to be other solutions that we bring on the platform as well, because we are all about giving the customer the ability to pick and choose. But we wanted to go to market with Zerto because Zerto is the best of the best when it comes to DR. So that's the first thing we added to our platform, and that was essentially GA'd in December of last year. And again, we did not want to be one of those CSPs that give you Zerto in Marketplace, right? Because that's easy to do, right? You put Zerto, or any partner for that matter, in your marketplace, giving your customers the ability to download that executable and basically go on their own way, right? We wanted to fully integrate that and solve a problem for a customer. And the problem was, on the disaster recovery side, as you guys know, is the challenge of deployment, challenge of configuration, challenge of actually talking to the customer and the sales process. It's a very challenging or long sales cycle. We wanted to really speed up that process and automate a lot of that functionality. So I'll show you towards the end of my presentation a quick demo on how easy it is with Zerto to deploy a disaster recovery site, as long as you know what you're looking for, right? So you will still need to do some homework. You need to size your environment. You need to understand how many VMs, how much storage you need to associate in the DR environment. But we are speeding up the deployment of a DR site. That's the end goal here. So it's a single-click deploy. Click the button, and stands up your whole VMware stack with Zerto on top, with ZVM, with VRAs installed, giving you the full functionality and access to go in and start deploying and your VPGs and setting all that good stuff up. So I'll show you the demo. Very, very cool stuff. And this is a very, very good slide. I wanted to bring this up. So automation is big, right? We are all about automation on this VMware stack. Everything we're bringing on the stack is going to be automated. We are not, just handing it off to the customer saying, okay, well, here's an executable, you go run with it, right? Another thing we're doing, which is a huge differentiator in the cloud space, and this is something all of you guys need to understand, because I've been hearing a lot of breakout sessions, a lot of presentations. Everybody's talking about Zerto, how they've integrated it. But on our platform, our goal is to give you guys access to the bare metal, full stack, just like you have on-prem. So anything you would do on-prem, you would have access to on our VMware platform. That's across the board, not just Zerto, not just any of this, everything. You'll have full stack admin access to the vCenter, bare metal server. You can integrate into it, do whatever you want to do, right? So that's a huge value add, not just for an end customer, but also a partner, because that allows a partner to build their services and their services on top of the stack. So I've been talking to a lot of partners, and we've gotten a lot of traction on this because you have access to the full stack, right? That's huge, and that's very unique in the industry when you look at cloud. We wanted to, security obviously is a big thing, but also we're more in the mid to enterprise space. So the first MVP candidate we have for this was a single tenant compute solution for Zerto DR, right? Which, yeah, it is single tenant, so you're not leveraging the multi-tenancy and all those things, but it's a very good use case in addition to an end customer, but for a partner. Because a partner can leverage this whole stack, build their whole offering around this, with them having access to the whole stack, and it's all single tenant. So to a CSP, single tenant, you can create multi-tenancy on top if you like. And then, obviously, we are also supporting VMware and Hyper-V. And like I mentioned, you get full access to Zerto. You're also getting access to ZCM. You're also getting access to ZCC. So you can create multi-tenancy on top. Full functionality exposed to you. And then a little bit on the offering itself. So I have a little bit of experience in the DR space in the last 10 years. And I've worked with many providers and partners and companies who have done this. And so I understand the market very well. One of the things I really wanted to do was to make this a true cloud-like model, right? And what better way to accomplish this than make licensing very cloud-like, right? So the way we've created this offering is you essentially do not pay anything for Zerto even after it's deployed till you actually start replicating, right? So I'll talk about two different use cases here. End customer use case, you can essentially deploy a VMware stack, right? And deploy Zerto with that stack. So there's no cost for you to do that. It's $45 a VM is what we charge, and it's all usage-based. So as you start replicating your VMs, that's when you actually start paying. Another thing we wanted to do no commits. So that is something, for a migration use case or a customer who doesn't know where they would be in a few months or a few weeks, right? Where they're testing out applications and they also need DR for those. This is a month-to-month deal, guys. You scale up, you use the license, a few VMs, bring it back down, that cost goes away, right? So having Zerto there is that for no cost to you unless you're using it. So that's something we wanted to do, and I think it's definitely a unique way to do this in cloud. Use cases that we are targeting, I'll actually transition into the new slide here. So disaster recovery, we all know. Zerto is a great tool and a product to do disaster recovery. But the other two use cases which you have heard a lot about are migrations. So we are actually seeing this a lot in the market space where more customers and partners are leveraging Zerto to migrate their workloads into cloud. We really see Zerto as an enabler for our cloud consumption because it just makes it so simple and so easy to migrate these workloads to IBM Cloud that it really reduces the cost to do that. And quite honestly and frankly, we've had in IBM Cloud a challenge historically to enable these customers moving to cloud because of the cost and the skill set and level set that's required to actually move that. Zerto has really helped us do that. We're actually building offerings, formal offerings around this to start offering it to our customers. And then also our hybrid strategies. That is something that our CEO has talked about a lot. That is a big initiative in IBM where we want to be able to support these hybrid environments. On-prem to cloud, IBM Cloud to IBM Cloud, Azure, we understand that customers want to have a multi-public cloud strategy. They are going to have IBM Cloud, they are going to have Azure. We need to bridge the gap. We need to give them the ability to connect all these public clouds together. And we see Zerto as being a great tool to do that. So that is something that is certainly a use case for us. There's customers that are asking about it, so that's something that we're building on as well. Moving on to the next slide, the cloud provider use case. So like I said previously, I've heard a lot about this, right? Our platform is an ideal platform for a CSP. What better way to build your offering without having a capital expense to expand globally? We have 45 plus data centers globally at the moment, right? We are not in the multi-tenant space. We are not going to be competing with our partners, right? That's not our goal. We are giving you full access to the whole stack, build your multi-tenant DR offering on top, right? Anything you need, and the good thing about this is it's not limited to just Zerto, right? It's a full stack we're building, all these services that are being onboarded. There's going to be other DR solution services as well. Customers can choose. But as a CSP, you can leverage that automation and the global footprint to build your offering on top and expand globally. So I think it's an ideal use case we're actually having a very good conversation with a few of the guys on the floor where they are looking to expand globally, but they are not able to raise the capital, or they have these financial reasons not to do that, right? They can piggyback on us and build their offering on top of us. All right, next question. So Most of you guys should know this, by the way. So who can tell me what is one of the biggest challenges when you're talking DR, which is sometimes a variable cost or consumption, or something that really needs to be sized properly to ensure that you achieve those RPOs and RTOs? Anyone? This is DotaCon, so I'm hoping that most of you guys do DR and you guys have some replication. Anybody? No one? Well, so let me phrase it differently. Let me ask you guys this. You have your compute, you have your storage, right? And you have your Zerto licenses. What else do you need to think about when you're solutioning for this? Yes? That's right. So network is a key part of this whole conversation. Thank you, Jack. It's a key part, right? Unless you have the right network in place, you're never going to achieve your RPOs and RTOs, right? You need to size the bandwidth. You need to have information on what your data rate of change is, how much of the storage needs to be replicated over. So the next slide, which is another one of key differentiators in the cloud space, is our backbone. Okay? And what I'm going to tell you guys now is something for end users as well as CSPs. It could be a huge differentiator for you guys. Our backbone across the globe, 45 data centers, right? We're going layer 2 on the backbone, not over public internet, right? Over the backbone, and the best thing is it's free to you. There's no cost for you if you are running an IBM Cloud to replicate to another IBM Cloud data center. And that is usually one of the larger costs that everybody needs to account for when they are looking for DR. So if you can avoid that cost, depending on how large your data footprint is that needs to be replicated over, it could be a huge value add. Another thing, if you're on-prem today, and if you want to point your workloads to IBM Cloud, there's no cost for incoming data, right? So incoming bandwidth is at no cost to you guys. So that is a huge differentiator as well, right? So considering the full stack, global footprint, no cost for bandwidth, incoming replication. I mean, me being in the DR space for a while, I don't think anybody's doing that. You know, if somebody is, you tell me, and I'd be happy to talk to you about that. But to my knowledge, nobody else is doing that today. So the way also you can hook into, so this is another thing, how do you connect? So if you're on-prem today, how would you connect to IBM Cloud? There's two ways to do that. VPN obviously is a simple way to do it, right? But in a lot of cases, it's not the most efficient way to do it. So we also have something that's called direct link. We've hooked into the Equinix Exchange. So you can hook into Equinix, and you can basically ride Equinix to any one of our POPs around the globe, right? So that's one way to do it. Another way is you can, and again, once you hook into our backbone, there's no cost for you to traverse that backbone at all, right? So data moves across the backbone at no cost to you. So one of the conversations I was having was with one of the CSPs. Currently, they do have a DRaaS offering. And yes, they do have a bandwidth cost associated with everything that they sell, right? So if they decide to move forward with us, that's something that'll go away completely. And that's all margin for them, for the bandwidth. Another way you can connect in IBM is obviously work with one of your providers and essentially come to one of our data centers. We'll do a cross connect over to us and hook you into our backbone. And once you're hooked into our backbone, then you have full access to all the different sites across the globe that IBM has. And again, no bandwidth costs there. So there's multiple ways to hook this or connect to our backbone. And once you get on the backbone, then it becomes good. And as far as latency is concerned, it's full disclosure. So if you go to our website, I believe it's software.com/network. If you go there, you can actually see live what that latency looks like from each data center to another, right? So you can say, okay, I want to have 20 or 30 milliseconds of latency. Which data centers are providing that? And you can be very picky as far as where you deploy your environments. Last but not least, I want to talk about POCs. So this is something that we recently did where we were hearing a lot. DR is not a simple sale, as all of you guys know, right? And this applies to end users as well as CSPs. We wanted to make sure anybody who wants to do it, who wants to test out our VMware stack as well as all the services, including Zerto, that they can do that and run a POC. So we have a program which is free POC for anything you want to deploy on the VMware stack. So it includes Zerto, other products and services as well, full stack access, 30 days. All you have to do is email me, come to me, tell me, or sign up on one of our websites, and we can put you in touch with the right folks who can stand this up for you and actually help you along the process too. So if you need any help, stay engaged with the process. NSX is a big thing some customers need help with. We can do that as well. So it's a lot of hand-holding to not just stand up a POC and run with it. And now I want to show you guys a quick demo of how easy it is to actually deploy. I don't know how much time I have left, but I'll try to make it quick here. So by the way, is it making sense? Are you guys kind of following? I tried to...
Any questions that you'd like to ask about the service or the offering?
No questions? Going 1, 2, 3, all making sense? All right, so let's do a quick demo. So as I was talking about Bluemix to you guys, Bluemix is the platform as a service environment for our customers. And we have integrated our VMware solution stack into Bluemix. So if you log into bluemix.net, you can go to infrastructure, you'll go to the, you can explore all the offerings that we have, VMware solutions being one of those offerings. You deploy, you click it, portal launches. So as I was mentioning, Foundation, vCenter Server are the two fully automated offerings that we have, and how Zerto is fully integrated. So let me show you guys how you would actually deploy it. And again, Foundation, just to do a recap, Foundation is a 4-node VMware deploy with NSX, with vSAN, fully integrated. So this whole stack will be deployed for you in a matter of hours with whichever service that you decide to put on top of that. So in this case, we'll do Zerto. So you click Next. I'm going to choose Primary. So you have an option to choose Primary and Secondary. So the goal here is to let you guys deploy this in multiple data centers. And if you want to have a hybrid sort of an environment, one in EMEA, one in US, connect it and layer it together, you can do that. So I chose Primary because this is the first site that we're standing up. I'll do, oops. All right, instance name, I'll just do a test. And like I mentioned earlier, so this is a fully validated design, right? This is something that we have responsibility for. We actually have validated the BOMs with VMware, and these are all on the HCL list to ensure that it's fully supported, and we do lifecycle management of this also. So we are the ones who actually track all the licensing, the versioning of vSAN, NSX, all the hardware, making it a lot more easier for our customers to actually configure and run with this. So I'll choose one of these BOMs that we have, and then again, the data center location. So we have a lot of data centers, and the neat thing about this is that we have actually, to ensure that we meet the SLA of deploying this in a matter of hours, we have hardware pre-configured, ready to go in a lot of these data centers, right? So that's one of the benefits that you as a customer have, or a partner have, that you will know at any time what's available where, live, and you'll see the inventory. We'll backfill it, but just knowing what's available where could be a very good thing for a customer. So I'll just pick a data center. I'll click Next. And then Zerto is an option. I'll add that as a service. And then, so this is another neat thing. At the top right, you see where it says calculating your order or the price. So if you're an existing IBM or software customer who already has a discount level already tied to your account, it's doing a live pull from your account and displaying that here. So it'll calculate your discounts and all that good stuff and display it here so you know exactly what those charges are going to be. So as you can see, for this particular environment with Zerto 4-node cluster deployed in one of those, I think London is where it shows, that's the estimated price, and all you have to do is place order. So that's how simple it is to actually stand up your own disaster recovery site, right? It's really that simple. You want to pick your data center. You want to stand up a DR environment in Europe. You want to do it in Brazil, Toronto, wherever you want to do it. Click through, pick your data center, choose Zerto, click finish, it deploys it for you. I'm not going to do that because there's a $13,000 cost associated with this, but my credit card's on file. But that's how you would do this. So the times that we're seeing again, we're seeing roughly about 12 hours to deploy the whole stack, right? Again, from a CSP standpoint and end user satisfaction standpoint, you are eliminating that hour or 6 weeks of time frame on deploying the VMware environment for a customer. This is fully dedicated to them for CSPs, single tenant, full access, and in a matter of minutes, and geographically any data center where you want to deploy it. So that's what we bring to the table. So I think with that said, that was the last slide that I had to present. I wanted to leave a few minutes towards the end to answer any questions that you may have. How many of you guys are CSPs in the room? Any CSPs? No? End users? Okay, most of you guys are end users, it seems. Okay, so definitely if you have any questions, please let me know. We can talk after the session also. But Miran, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I think that's kind of high level. We're making the number one aspect of the offering, including the version that includes the high cost of security and a number of enhancements. So we're looking forward to kind of taking the market by storm. As you can see, the value proposition is really significant. The fact is fast deploy, fully managed in the stack, very cost effective. And you can scale it as well. You pick a core server now, add another server in 2 hours. So unlimited scalability and good recovery.
Yeah, from a services standpoint, and I know there's a lot of end users in the room. So from a services standpoint, even though we're fully automating the deploy of this, we have a lot of services that we can layer on top also. IBM basically has everything, right? So we've partnered internally with a lot of services teams to provide professional services, to provide managed services. So if you are looking for that, type of service levels and SLAs, we can offer that to you as well. Yep.
Any questions about the offering or the services?
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.